We're doing well.
Let's see here.
Yeah,
There
we're
we go.
doing pretty well.
You hear me okay?
Yep.
Awesome.
You hear us just fine?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Looks good. I don't do
Awesome.
a ton of these. I don't do a ton of these Zoom things, so I'm not all that familiar with it, but I do a few.
That's okay. We don't really take them too seriously because we don't know technology all that well anyway. So they come at everybody unedited, just whatever happens in the interview, that's what you get.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So for those that don't know who you are, tell us a little about yourself.
Oh gosh. I've been playing around with various lifting stuff for since before you guys were born.
Yeah.
So 40 years ago, I guess, is when I started and kind of got into a gym, and after not really doing much of that kind of stuff, was not an athlete in high school. I was kind of a partier, more the other side. And I think when I was 21, a couple friends got me into a gym, and a few years later, actually, you won't know it today, but I did some bodybuilding contests for probably 5 years. Then did some powerlifting probably for 5 years after that, and took some time off of any kind of competition, and then got introduced to strongman. I think it was in '99, and within a year or two was competing in strongman. And if you would, if you would say, I'd say strongman is kind of my sport, but today it's morphed much more into stone lifting, and kind of getting into grip strength, enjoying that. Always play with that a little bit going through the strength sports, but kind of enjoying that now. Something that I can, at my age, I can still actually make gains, where the rest of it's more survival than anything else.
Yeah.
And amassing a decent amount of grip strength implements, slowly but surely.
Yep, that's always a big part of it.
Yeah. Learning. Haven't done any contests in grip strength. Thought about it last year, but I was hoping to get back over to Scotland, and was really putting my concentration in that. And then, of course, COVID messed that up for everybody. And so now my hope is to get over to Scotland August of this year. So it'll still be kind of my primary focus, but I don't know. I don't know of any. I'm in St. Louis, Missouri. I don't know of any grip strength contest in St. Louis, Missouri. I've never heard of it.
Oh.
So
you'll have to get a community started up there.
Yeah, and there's the guys that I train with and their kids, and they do grip stuff because I do, but they're not as interested in it, I would say, as I am. But it could probably be done, and I thought about that. A couple people had suggested that I do something. Adam Glass had suggested that I do something. So I may. There's fairly close to me. There's a powerlifting gym that would probably be good with hosting. I do everything at home, and I'm okay with a few people hanging out here, but I don't know that I want a whole big old crew at one time, depending on time of year and weather.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
This time of year, are you guys in California?
No, we're up in Washington.
Oh, okay. So you are West Coast, but so you do have cold weather.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I've been lifting icy stones lately. That's for sure. It's good for you though.
Definitely. We lift, and then all our handles are frozen. So trying to get a heater on and warm up for about 5 minutes before you do anything. So
Most of my assistants and even some of the strongmen is here in the house. You know, we'll do some stuff in the garage. We do events on Saturday, and you know, we'll do some kind of pressing event, and that'll be in the garage. And I've got a propane heater, a salamander heater that I'll heat it up with. But then it's stones or outside, and you know, various things, just weather dependent on what we'll do. We try to do 4 or so events on a Saturday.
nice.
Let's throw something grip in.
So Jeff, what gave you the itch to compete? What motivates you to compete, and what made you stay in it for so long? And
Some of it's habit. You know, I think that the original move into weightlifting was more replacing bad habits with a good habit, I guess I would say. And then, you know, I've always, or maybe lifting is what got me there, but, you know, I've always tried to excel and be the best I could be, you know, at things. And after a while, that was the natural progression, was competing. It, as you guys know, it just brings you to a whole different level of preparation, of finding out what your abilities are. It's the only way you find out what your abilities are is when you push hard enough to compete.
yeah,
And I haven't, gosh, I did a strongman contest on a whim, a master's class, probably 3 or 4 years ago. I don't even remember. You know, stone lifting for the most part isn't really a contest other than against yourself and the stone. I've always said that, well, in recent years, that once I turned 60, I would do one last strongman contest and then retire. Now that I'm 60, I still feel pretty good. So I may do some strongman contests. I don't have 60, age 60 age classes in strongman. Usually cuts off at 40 or 50. So I'd be in there against young guys. But, you know, as long as I'm having fun and my body holds up, it just really, it definitely brings you, like I said, to a higher level of what you're capable of. And so probably my next progression with competition will be grip. I've been through enough injuries and shit hurts a lot, so I can handle my hands being sore, but
yeah.
I can't walk around. Well, that can be a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. We say grip is safe because usually the worst that can happen is you drop it.
Yeah, guess you could break a toe.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe you'll break a toe.
Yeah,
Tear some skin off your hand.
I've done that. Got some big calluses. Got a tendon that bothers me a little bit in one finger, but nothing horrible. So yeah, I can. And it's fun. It's the whole grip community is a pretty cool community, and same with stone lifting, same with strongman.
Yeah.
A lot different. You know, the first thing I did was bodybuilding, and that was all about egos, and that's just not fun. It's nice to go to a contest and or an event, whatever you want to call it, and have people rooting you on. If I was younger, it'd be cool to do Highland stuff, and I've got a few implements, and when it warms up, I'll play with some of that a little bit. But my age is not a good age to start in Highland stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's a hard sport right there.
It's hard. It's fun. I've thrown things a couple of times, but without much guidance at all. So, and there's a ton of technique, and there's technique in all of it.
Every time somebody mentions Highland Games, all I think about is Nick Betts trying it out for the first time, flip that pole, and he just hits himself square in the nuts.
I didn't see that. He probably took it well. He's got a pretty good attitude. That Strongest Man in History series was pretty entertaining, I would say.
Yeah, that's where he does it too. So,
and I watched them all. I must have missed that, or not. Or I guess it's been a little while and I forgot about it. That's all four of those guys were pretty entertaining.
absolutely. Yeah, I'd love to see him come back and do another season. That was a hoot.
Yeah, I think they realized that probably wasn't their best financial strategy. So, and
they were getting a little crazy on that show too.
Yeah,
some of the lifts they were doing were pretty extreme.
Strong boys, way beyond my capability. And I've always pictured myself or explained myself. I've got mediocre genetics at best, but I outwork most people around. So I've done okay with some stuff. Never set the world on fire with anything. But a long time ago, I realized that when you're doing it for fun, it's fun. When you're getting too serious, it kind of becomes a job. And I've already got one of those, so
Yeah.
don't need another one.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. So on the same lines, what would you consider your greatest athletic achievement? I know you've lifted the Dinnie Stones, which is awesome. Anything else you consider, your greatest athletic achievement?
Certainly the Dinnies. In 2001, I think it was, which was early in the organized strongman competition era, I guess you would say, is I won Masters Nationals, but there were only 4 guys in my weight class. Still a win, still cool trophy. And I've told her this too. The Masters Nationals, it was 3 different groups. There were Masters men, it was the Women's Nationals, and it was the Teen Nationals kind of combined. So, fairly big group of people. And I don't know if you know who Becca Swanson is.
Yeah.
Serious, incredible lifter.
Oh, yeah, she's a monster.
Yeah, so she was in Women's Nationals that year and really hadn't done a ton of strongman. And probably until the Dinnies, my claim to fame was I was the only person that day that beat her in the one-arm dumbbell lift.
Oh, wow.
And I was pretty proud that I beat Becca Swanson in anything. And her and I have messaged about that a couple times through the years. She's I don't know if you've ever met her, but she is funny as hell. Definitely has a good lighthearted attitude about everything, but just a beast of a weightlifter for sure.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. I think her records are going to stand for quite some time.
Yeah, and I'm a horrible presser. That's my worst event. I worked technique and I worked it for a long time, and I won that event in that contest, and I beat her by I think it was 5 pounds. It wasn't much.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Still beat her.
Yeah, absolutely. That's an incredible competition to think that she was that capable. She's that capable. That's just amazing.
Yeah, I would have never beat her in anything powerlifting. She's got some big time numbers out there.
Yeah, absolutely. So on the opposite spectrum, what do you consider your greatest blunder or injury?
So I have to think about that. Gosh, I've had my fair share of injuries, and from tearing a tendon doing a rigged finger that we were outside in the cold, and just catching the pipe and didn't even feel anything, didn't hurt. And it was what they call it a hammer tear or something like that. And the end joint of this finger, I think it was this one, maybe it was this one because it doesn't go all the way back. So the end joint, I get done working out and the end joint of this finger was like this.
Oh.
And I couldn't pull it back. And it didn't hurt. It tore the tendon, and it had to be in a splint for like 12 weeks. You couldn't, like when you showered, you had to hold it back. You could not let it bend, or you started it over.
Wow.
So that one was a pain. The worse, and it wasn't a single time injury, but 10 years ago, this coming August, I got a hip replacement. And that was totally due to heavy moving events. So, farmers, frame carry, yoke walk, Conan's wheel, which I do not do those anymore at all because I don't want to go through that with my other hip, which is starting to act up a little bit now, 10 years later. And that was a tough recovery. I had plenty of lifters. I think Eddie Cohn has even had hip replacements. There's a hip replacement that I had called a BHR. It's a Birmingham hip resurface, which is kind of a misnomer. I don't know where they came up with the name, but where most hip replacements are a plastic device with some metal in it, and they take off about probably 6 or 8 inches of the bone. Well, this BHR is just a big titanium joint, and you don't have any restrictions. So after 6 months, I could go back to doing this stuff. But it took me a year to be able to squat full depth with just the bare bar. So it took a while, but it did come back. It's a lot of things I don't push, and I don't do moving stuff. Even when I lifted the Dinnie Stones, my squat was probably 2 plates for some reps. Since my hip replacement, I have not gone over 2 plates and won't. My deadlift from the floor is unimpressive. Pretty good on a partial, which translates more into the Dinnie Stones.
Yeah.
But just a lot of stuff that I just either can't or won't do. Don't want to push that, and try to reserve this other hip for as long as I can, because it's a tough surgery. So that's my biggest, blunders. There's blunders every workout in strongman.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had years ago, I had a vitamin company and sold vitamins to weightlifters, supplements, and sold that. And then, gosh, probably kind of got back into it with a company called The Week at Eaton around 2000. And that's kind of languished a little bit. But because of that, I video a lot of our workouts. And at some point, I between me and people I've trained with, I've got a pretty good fail reel that could make some really entertaining video, a lot of entertaining video of various different stuff. So, and I'm sure, I have less of me than anybody else, because I'm usually the one running the camera. And I'm not a big camera person, not big at being on this side of the camera. Don't know that I've ever done an interview like this. And I don't know, it's not so much a shy thing. I'm just not big on limelight, I guess you would say.
I'll have to
So
start posting a fail a week or something. Start
Yeah,
digging those out.
Friday
Friday
fails,
fails.
something.
Yeah.
I've got
Cool.
so much of that stuff. So, and some of them, we had probably the best one, this kid named Teddy, we haven't seen for a while, but trained with us for a while. And we would get bored of pressing an axle, a log, just the same stuff. So at the gym we were working out at that time, they had like tractor trailer tires that they would use in boot camps and stuff like that. So one day I got the idea to press the tractor trailer tires. So kind of clean it, kind of wrapping it around your neck and your head and get it balanced and then press it.
Yeah.
And they weigh like 100, 110. They're not real heavy. It's just a balance thing. And Teddy was a lot stronger than me, big shoulders. Is one of the first times that he does it. He getting it up to where it's overhead, and it kind of came unbalanced and grabbed him and just knocked him over backwards. And it is the best fail video that I have. It's way back on my Instagram. It's in there a couple times. I need to find the video and post it again because it's that good. And he even gets a kick out of it. So it was pretty entertaining. And
I
that
can
was,
imagine that being pretty good. The guy's got a tire over his head and he's falling backwards with it. I mean, that's
and you got no control with that 100-pound tire dragging you down, and you're just like, oh, here we go.
We had to start doing waivers because one of our fails. We're like, yeah, we should probably have people sign some waivers. I went to the gym. One of our buddies picked up this stone and he was going to run with it because he wanted to beat 20 seconds. It must have been like 130-pound stone or something. Took off maybe like 2 steps and just flew forward, launched the stone, like shoulder rolled, and the stone comes right behind him and almost just takes him out. It was close.
There's this sport can injure people big time, and anybody that comes to my house definitely has health insurance stuff. And so St. Louis way back was kind of the resurgence area for strongman. There was a guy named Jim Davis who actually just died, I think, last year. And actually, first there was a guy named Chris Mavromatis, had the strongest man alive contest in like 99 or something like that.
okay.
Had 100 competitors, including Phil Pfister and Yoko Hola, and had there were like 3 or 4 guys that he brought in to officiate. Magnus for Magnuson, trying to think of the others, a couple others as well. And then a couple years later, this Jim Davis guy, he's the one who really kind of got the whole pro thing going in the US, or one of the major players. So there were a ton of high level contests in St. Louis. And then the amateur stuff, all the NAS and everything kind of started in St. Louis. So it was really a good area to be in this sport in the early 2000s. There was a lot happening, a lot of it in the Midwest and different areas like that. So it was fun. And again, I always did it for fun. Competing definitely is a highlight that I need to get back into. And I guess I'm either going to have to travel or I'm going to have to host a grip contest. I'd almost like to go see one first so I know a little bit about what the heck I'm doing as far as hosting a contest.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty easy to host. They send you all the rules and they're there to help you out with it, and it's pretty straightforward. Yeah, the first one we hosted, we had Ricardo on the phone to help us out the whole time, so that was great. He gave us advice on what order to do the events in, and exactly what to look for in a lift and lockout, and what they expect in grip lockouts. And Yeah, it's pretty cool. It was a lot of fun. We've
Yeah.
hosted several since then, so they've all people have submitted videos. Some of the people were in like the top 5 in the world. Like we had one person in the top 4 in the world. Actually, 2 people.
Yeah,
Joey and Brittany were in the top 4 in the world at
Both.
Super Series.
both going to the Arnold.
Yeah, both going to the Arnold Classic, and they had to submit their videos of their lifts, and their lifts came through just fine. So I mean, it's pretty straightforward, and we don't have a ton of experience with this, and it was straightforward enough for us to be able to host one just fine.
Yeah, I'll have to do it. I'll talk to you guys and get advice as to what to do, what organization, that type of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. We've just done it with Arm Lifting USA and with Grip Sport
Okay.
International, and they've both helped out a lot.
Yeah,
For sure. And a lot of the lifts are from Arm Lifting has a couple lifts that are from the ground, like the axle and the Saxon bar. But you can set up contests through like GSI that are all completely loading pins. So if you never want to do those real low lifts, you can do everything from a loading pin height.
yeah,
Which of course would benefit because you said you were, focused on partials. The loading pin height be right in your alley.
Yeah, and I would, if I was hosting a contest, I want it to work for everybody, not just me. And I've got Saxon bar, and I've got an Apollon's axle, and I've got a decent amount. I look at some of these people in their grip walls, and I don't even have a fraction, but I think they've also been at it for 15 years, and I have not been at it that long.
Yeah, it's interesting. We went to Adam Glasses thinking he would have just an absolute ton of grip stuff, and he doesn't have that much.
it's got like 6 things.
No kidding.
Honestly, he doesn't have very much. That shocked us. And then we have quite a bit of stuff. We built a lot of it, and we've added to it, but we don't have an Apollon's axle. We don't have a silver bullet. I don't know. We don't have the entire collection of COCs. There's just so much stuff in grip. Like you need a trilobite for the new competition coming up, and
Finish ball,
and some other weird stuff. So there's just a ton of things out there. We have a finish ball trainer. We had to get an actual finish ball from Finish Ball Company.
Yeah. Somebody, I think Arm Assassins brought him in last year.
Yeah.
But I actually have a finish ball that I'm staring at there. I'm not real good at that event, but
I don't think anybody is except Bloom.
some of these guys are doing 100 pounds with that thing.
Yeah.
My goal on grip has been 2 things. One, to do half of what the best guys in the world do. So that's a big goal. If they're doing 220, I want to be able to do 110. And
that's funny. Sometimes we aim for numbers somewhere close to there on certain events. We're like, yeah, if we get like half of what Adam Glass is getting, that's pretty good.
Yes, I agree. And there's some things that I can't. Most of them, though, I'm 2/3, 3/4, something like that.
Yeah.
No. And then I'd like to be able to compete with Patricia Luxner on some things. So there might be one.
Yeah, she's one that we definitely are right there with. And also, that was our goal when we were at Adam Glasses, was to beat his wife's world record on the finish ball. She has the female world record on the finish ball, which we didn't know. But it's over 50 pounds. It's a decent amount of weight, and that's tough on the finish ball. So
yeah,
we were both struggling just to compete with her.
It's like, if I can beat Ashley, that'll be okay.
Yeah.
I'm right around 50, 55 pounds, I think, with the strong hand on the finish ball.
Yeah, I think her world record is around 53 or 56, somewhere right in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. It's actually kind of cool that there's a sport that men and women can compete evenly, or at least same events, and the best in the world are going to be a little separate. It's enjoyable. It's everything in this stuff so relative. I like, that's one thing through the years is I've really, especially in strongman, tried to help people, teach them, train them, just because I enjoy it. Never done it for pay whatsoever. Just if somebody wants to know how to do events, I'll help them in any way I can. And I'll have people out here to the house. There's a few gyms that do all right. that I've trained at, and the one that was primary kind of went through some ownership problems. One of the partners passed, and they moved into a new place that's smaller, and they really don't have the space to devote to strongman.
Yeah.
Gyms don't make money off strongman.
No.
You know, you'll have 6 guys in there that tear crap up, and
Yeah,
you know,
basically.
yeah, they need CrossFit and Olympic lifting and stuff like that. That's where their money is, and I get that. So I have an 8x8 and a rack, and you know, a couple cardio things, and you know, plenty of weight that I can put on here, and you know, I don't know, decent amount of strongman implements. Some of it is in storage right now that I'm storing for that guy that doesn't have the space.
Yeah.
You know, that I'm storing Atlas stones, but I've really got to where I much prefer natural granite stones, and I've been able to buy them reasonably. You know, I can't find them natural here, but for about 15 to 20 cents a pound. And we've got from 145 to 305.
Oh wow, that's cool.
If you want to rent a U-Haul, you can come to, you know, Washington. We'll show you plenty of natural stones. We have anywhere from 80 to 322 that we just find all the time. So
Yeah.
Really,
And as long as they're not in a river or in a tributary or something where they're a part of an ecosystem, they don't care.
Yeah, we take them.
They're like, whatever.
We probably have 20 natural stones just in our garden chilling that we've picked up.
Just so many areas around where they've just excavated out, you know, a side of a mountain to build a bridge, and they just leave all the stones there.
really.
And we found stones that we look at and we're like, there's no way in hell we're taking that home. You know, that's good 600-700 pounds. I'm not gonna even try it.
Yeah.
And see, here we've got that stuff on the side of the road, but it's lime, and that it's light and it's sharp and it falls apart, and it's just not good stuff to work with at all. So there's places that are like landscape places, and they'll sell them, but you know, you might have 15 or 20 to look through, not a whole lake bed or riverbed to look through to, you know, they've got to be decent shape and size. And you know, there's the goal again is to go to Scotland now this year and lift a bunch of the famous stones there, so we know kind of what a lot of them look like. And you know, they're not that we duplicate them, but we have things that are like that to lift, I guess you would say.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'll continue adding to that collection.
So what's the heaviest stone you're going to go for when you're in Scotland?
I've got a little time left. You know, there seems to be, once you get past the Inverstone, they jump. You know, the Inverstone's 265.
Yeah.
And then they go to around 3. And there's, you know, we've got a 305 here. I've broke ground with it, but I've never lapped it. It's not the best. It's kind of long. So I want to get a better one. Now that the one I'm doing okay with now is a 260. So now I need a decent one that's another 15, 20 pounds heavier. I make pretty slow progressions at my age. My son trains with us, and he's 6'5", 300 pounds.
Oh, that's a big boy.
And he can lift the 305. I don't think he's shouldered it as of yet. And then the other kid that lifts with us is a short guy but stocky, and he's actually a really good stone lifter. But he wants to lift the Dinnies, so he trained with me for the Dinnies the entire way. I mean, every lift. I trained for 8 months to do the Dinnies, and I trained every other Saturday. I would lift rings, had to build myself a set of training rings, because all these accurate training rings are in the last 2 years, really. they haven't been around since before then. So I
didn't know
had some
that.
good. What's that?
Yeah, I didn't know that. We've actually only been doing like, other than I did grippers for a long time in college, but other than like just playing around and doing like high school weightlifting, we haven't really jumped into it. So we had no idea about the rings being inaccurate, or the accurate ones only being available for a couple of years. No idea.
Yeah, there was somebody made them way back, and then they didn't make them anymore. So I started communicating with Stevie Shanks, who his dad, Jack Shanks, was the first guy since they found the Stones to get a successful unassisted lift. So he had all the dimensions, and I got pins from Barrel Strength. I got one ring from Barrel Strength, and then I had to have a blacksmith make the other ring, and neither of the two were wholly accurate, but it worked. So we trained every other Saturday. We would lift rings progressively heavier. On the off Saturdays, we would do partial deadlifts, do kind of a Kennedy Jefferson lift, that was elevated, and just train. And I never hit full weight till probably 4 to 6 weeks before we went, maybe 6 weeks before we went. And it was a lot of work. So this kid, James, he was there literally every training session and planning on going and helping push in and so on and so forth. And then life stuff came up, and he just wasn't able to go. So then the last 2 years he's been ready, and COVID's gotten in the way. So he shouldn't have any problem now hitting full weight. But he's got a baby coming about 3 weeks before the gathering in August of this year. And he said he's already got permission from his wife, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we'll see how awake he is when he gets there.
Yeah,
3 weeks of no sleep is going to be pretty rough.
Yeah, no, that's the rough part with babies. He's spoiled because his first baby is like the best baby that I've ever seen. Sleeps, she's an angel, she's always smiling. I don't know if you've got kids, but that doesn't happen twice.
Yeah, his first kid was really good and listened perfectly and behaved himself and was wonderful, and a great little genius child that was interested in doing everything that everybody was trying to help him with, and right there. And then he had this daughter that's just a rambunctious
Evil
monster. She's awesome.
Yeah. And
let me tell you, she can lift.
She can lift. She fires herself up, man.
She can lift. She's crazy.
That's cool. How old is she now?
She's 7, and she's competing with the big 10-year-olds and lifting almost as much as them. She gets excited during contests and just goes for it.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
So
that's my daughter trained with us for a while, and she got to about 75% of the weight on the rings.
Nice.
And she was 17 probably at the time. Hurt her knee, and then just kind of lost interest in the dumb shit we do, which I understand. And now she's going to a gym, just for fitness and staying in shape. So that's good. But she actually, she had potential. She could have done well. And then, my son, he did do sports through high school and college. He played football, then he did rugby in college, and he's lifted, and he's less consistent than I am, but has way more physical ability than I have, by all means. So it's always good to train with people that push you. And my goal is just to once in a while beat these kids at something. And I more often than not beat them at grip. now, but not every implement's different.
Yeah.
Some
I'm
of
kind of working towards being in that same position too. I'm the oldest guy of our group, pretty much, I think. One of the older ones, and I can beat a lot of the guys at grip, but that's anything else, they're just hundreds of pounds beyond me.
Yeah. Once in a while, there's something that I'll beat them at, but it's reasonably inconsistent, I would say.
Show them you still got it.
Yep. Makes me feel good when I do that.
Yeah,
sure.
we actually have a kids class that's just awesome to watch. I mean, one of our friends has a daughter that's the same age as my son, and they really compete against each other at 10. So they're really going for it. Makes me think what's going to happen, when they're 16 and 18, if they're still doing grip, where they're going to be at.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And it's always been enjoyable getting, in kids, and I call almost all of them kids, because they're all 30 years younger than me. But just to see them doing something good with their time. There's a group in St. Louis here called Lift for Life, and it's an inner city group that has put together a gym and kind of mentoring kids, giving them an option other than the streets and that type of thing. And they have always have Olympic lifters that work out at this gym that we used to do strongman before, kind of things changed. And they've had, national youth champions and stuff. They really do some really cool stuff with those kids. That's one of the things that, I donate to every year and, try to help them fund things. And it's good for the kids. And it's watching somebody who knows how to do Olympic lifts. You watch a 15-year-old kid that can out clean and jerk me by a long shot that weighs 140 pounds. I'm like, wow, it's impressive stuff.
Absolutely. I find that incredibly impressive.
I can't snatch to save my life. I can't snatch with a bar. I don't know. I can't do it.
I don't want to.
Yeah, these guys are super athletes, honestly.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a crazy thing to think about, whipping the bar up straight directly above your head with hundreds of pounds on the bar, standing up with it. You're this little tiny pencil with a platform as small as your feet holding up this giant bar. I mean, come on. Anything can happen. It's absurd.
Yeah.
Like I said, the worst thing that happens in grip is you drop it, it just falls.
Yep.
The worst can happen when you're trying to snatch hundreds.
Yeah, you don't hyperextend your shoulder and
fall over.
Absolutely.
There's a guy, I don't even know his name right now, but he's getting close to a 500 snatch and a 600 clean and jerk.
That's insane.
I think he's at, 488 snatch and 590. I don't know. He's close on both.
He's the one that just broke both records, right?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It's intriguing. It's definitely the whole strength sports thing is, my biggest hobby for sure. I've got a few that's it's been my hobby for 40 years, so long time, and enjoy it. And it's healthy other than the injuries.
Yeah.
Would you do anything different if you started it all over with what you know now?
Maybe get to strength sports a lot earlier. Is for powerlifting, strongman type thing. I don't know that the gym I was at, there were a lot of bodybuilders, and I for whatever reason, that's the direction, probably to impress girls or whatever. I don't even really remember. But I probably would skip that part. Not that I have regrets, on doing that, but the camaraderie in strength sports is totally different. When you're best competitor, you're trying to help them, and they're trying to help you. You're your biggest competitor.
Exactly.
And then you're over there lifting stones. when I went, they have once a year, other than COVID, and I was at the second, but they have a thing these days called the Gathering. And, you know, it's just a big day where a lot of people attempt the Dinnies. And then they've added some other events, you know, through the Gathering as well. And, you know, everybody's pulling for everybody. It's, you know, you're not winning or losing, you know, everybody's doing it in succeeding together. And it's pretty cool. And still Facebook friends and friends with so many of those people, you know, a few of them, Stevie Shanks, Brett Nicole, Mark Haydock, those guys kind of coached me through the progression, you know, telling me stuff on Instagram and what have you.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what we love so much about the grip community, is just how open people are to help and want you to succeed. And even when you're in the middle of a competition, they're like, no, here, let me help you get, you know, even more.
Yeah.
And people are willing to share the secrets now too, which is cool. Like, you know, if you try to find how to actually tear a deck of cards, like if you try to research it, it's not the easiest thing in the world to find, like the proper technique. And it's you know, obviously for a long time people made money off of doing it, you know.
Yeah.
And it was part like a trade secret, if you will. But now, you know, people are more willing to share that knowledge, and that's pretty cool.
I haven't done cards yet. I haven't done bending yet. I actually got a hold of some used horseshoes, and at some point I'll have to play with those. Someone said that when they're used, it hardens them and they can snap. So I'll have to. I don't know about that. But those are progressions that I'll get to at some point. So far, it's just all been, you know, straight grip, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
So
Jeff, you're, you know, 60 years old, been at this for a long time. What are some healthy lifestyle habits you have and that you'd like to share with just the average person that could, you know, do it for a long time and continue doing it like you have yourself?
Probably a lot I could say there. You know, I've watched when in my early strongman days, and I don't care what kind of lifestyle somebody has, but, you know, it was interesting. There was a group of clean guys and a group of guys that used assistance, and none of the guys who used assistance are still doing it. You know, they're like, at all cost, I got to win type of thing, and nothing's worth, you know, risking your health. It's you got to do this stuff for fun. You know, I know how to eat well because of the bodybuilding years, but I don't necessarily follow it very well. You know,
Well, you got to enjoy life too.
Got to enjoy life. I like my bourbon.
I mean, how often can you eat chicken, broccoli, and rice? I mean, you know.
Yeah, and I've seen people that can do it and do well with it. You know, I've got abs; they're just covered by fat. I know they're
they're there.
That's a protection layer.
They work.
Yeah,
you know.
But don't overtrain. You know, everybody that gets in the lifting, everybody that I've ever met, including myself, the first thing you do is you start thinking more is better, and then it starts getting counterproductive. I don't think I've ever met a weightlifter of any kind who didn't go through a period of overtraining. So you gotta back that off.
Yeah, I think we were doing 5 days a week when we first started out, which was too much. Yeah, I figured that out pretty quick. Especially, you know, I'm in my late 30s. It was too much, 5 days a week. No time to recover.
One of the things that I probably started on this, I'm gonna say last year, and so Jamie Gorian is one of the world's best stone lifters and lives in Scotland, and him and I have communicated a lot. He's helped me with tips and different things. He's lifted every historic stone. Him and Martin Jancics have lifted every famous stone in Scotland. I don't think either of them's been to Iceland. I'm not sure. But one of the biggest things Jamie got me doing, and I used to do it when I was younger, but anymore I stretch 30 minutes a day. And a lot of times it's mixed in with a workout, not always. And once in a while on a Sunday or something I might miss. But it has made a way bigger difference than what I expected. I don't know that it makes me stronger, but I hurt less.
Yeah.
Which is a big goal at my age. So it's do it for fun, you know. If you've got amazing genetics and you can make a living off your body, go for it, give it everything that it's got. But you know how few of people are in that position.
Yeah.
It sure isn't me. You know?
Yeah, it's fun when you get to see them.
Yeah.
We traveled and we got to see some, monsters. We got to see Tanner Merkel in action, and we kind of call him the giant killer now because anybody that's lifted more than him on a rolling thunder is at least 6.5 foot tall and 330 pounds or more. So, I mean, it's really cool to see, a guy that's 220 pounds competing with those guys. It's just absurd. It's awesome.
Yeah. And he's not even big. He just very unassuming and seems like a really good guy. And he lives down by Adam Glass, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Okay. If I would ever travel, that's those guys seem like a really good group and a really knowledgeable group.
It was one hell of a King Kong to go to. I'll tell you that. We went to King Kong at Adam Glass's place, and it was one of the best trips. I mean, it was the perfect group to go see and get to know and hang out with. And we just had a blast with the whole thing. We took a couple extra days and did a lot of touristy stuff and spent some time with Adam and Tanner and people. And it was just, first class. It was awesome. They had Tommy there teaching us arm wrestling. It was pretty awesome.
That would be a pretty cool. That would be a good place to go. There's probably closer places I could go, but that would be, looks like a lot of fun.
It was.
Yeah, it definitely was.
And I've talked to Adam a little bit. He likes to drink whiskey too, so
yeah,
a good mix.
I think Tanner could have got a better lift at King Kong, but it didn't matter if he wasn't, drunk by the time he was lifting his last event. So
all right, my kind of crew.
Still won. I mean, they were killing it, so it was so much fun though.
That is cool.
Yeah, we did an experiment on New Year's, me and one of my buddies, with whiskey and a hand dyno. We were trying to determine how many shots of whiskey it took to get to our peak hand dyno strength. And I think I got like a 26-pound PR that night on the hand dyno. It took me like 2.5 shots or something like that to get there, and took my buddy like 5 shots to get his PR. It was an interesting night.
That's fantastic. That's only on special times do I drink before I'm done lifting, but
yeah.
On that a couple times, but it's good. It's a guy named Dan John is kind of a guru from way back in lifting in general. It's got some pretty good stuff, pretty knowledgeable, but he calls it analgesic liquid, and makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does.
After a good strongman workout, eat some burgers or pizza and some whiskey or beer, and there's nothing wrong with that. And that's where, through the years I've seen guys who want to go train with a group, and then immediately the training's over and they're out of there, and the better part of it comes from going to lunch and learning and listening to the stories and talking about stuff. Those days when strongman was here in St. Louis, they were bringing international guys in here, and so I was assistance. I was a timer, an expediter, and it was, I got to meet all kinds of impressive people. Phil Pfister, before he won World's Strongest Man, when actually probably in his first year of competing, when he was just raw. He was gifted, had the attitude, but it was long before he won World's Strongest Man. And it was a cool opportunity to meet those guys on that level. And then I've kind of, stayed out of it, stayed away from the big organization of it and the politics of it. Again, that it becomes a job when you get involved in all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to do it for fun, and it's fun as long as it's not a job.
Yeah, that's the way we look at it too. We're not trying to make any money off of running grip contest or selling anything more than the potatoes, which we make almost no money off selling. We just do it for fun. We just do it to put a smile on people's face. Really, honestly, that was the whole thing. We thought it was quirky and cool, and people would get a kick out of it.
We thought it was kind of a joke.
How did that happen?
They just started growing in our garden out here as soon as we started doing grip stuff.
And just regular potatoes?
No, the golden potatoes.
Golden potatoes.
Yeah. They just started growing in our garden out here when we started gripping a lot more.
Yeah, they're awesome.
That's how that came to be.
Yeah, we're gonna have to drink and get that whole story out someday.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. For sure. No, we have the mythical story that comes with the potatoes.
Yeah, we'll send it to you.
Yeah, so you get the whole mythical background about how they were used and they saved the people of our local area and all kinds of stuff. It's great.
Yeah, just gross, just like this.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I would think potatoes are big in Ireland, right? We should should talk to Stevie Shanks. And,
definitely.
It's funny that you say that. I have a neat story about the potatoes that in Ireland.
We can't get them there though.
FitLinks Fitness ordered some potatoes from us, and they're an Irish gym. They ordered 2 sets back in August, and I sent them to Ireland, and they came back to us because they didn't pass
customs.
They didn't pass through customs. So then we had to repackage them up and put a different description on them and explain exactly what they were and explain there's a website, there's people that are lifting with them, all this stuff. They still sent them back again. So
they've been around the world twice.
So they've been around the world twice. And then the person that ordered them, he actually had family visiting other family in the US. So I wound up sending them to his visiting family, and they're going to take them back on a plane to Ireland. So yeah,
and hopefully they could get them in the country that way.
Yeah, it was wild.
So through the years, and I've done more importing in than sending stuff out, but you really got to call things sporting goods, and it can be pretty complicated. That's crazy. I wonder if it's the whole potato thing, or who knows. Have you shipped them other places international?
Yep.
Yeah.
All over the place.
In Australia, just fine.
Netherlands, Australia,
Netherlands, England, Canada.
And no problem.
No problem.
No problem. Just
Ireland.
That's funny.
That was a hoot.
But if you travel with them in the United States, you get stopped and your bags get checked every time too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What the hell are these things?
Because it's a round object with metal inside of it, and they're like, "Oh, it must be a bomb or something. I don't know what this is, but we're stopping you and checking your bags."
And then even when they see it, they don't know what it is. So
no, we have to bring videos and
have to show them documents
and everything.
That's awesome.
That's the wildest thing we've ever seen.
Yeah,
that's funny. So you got to prove that it's not something crazy. I guess if you think about it, a lot of this stuff, nobody would have any clue what it was, but the potato, that's going to throw them off. That's unique. There's nothing else like it, and won't ever be anything like it.
No, we don't think so. Well, we actually made a competitor's potato as a joke once last year, saying that somebody had come out with one similar to ours, but it wasn't as good. So we threw that out there. That was pretty funny for a little while. But even the lift on it is different than any other implement that I've seen in grip, because it's if you hold it up, Adam, show them how you actually lift on it.
So there's this small ledge here that you grab, and you're only allowed to go up to the guards right here, and then you kind of you have to wrap your thumb around just like this.
Okay.
And then it's straight down, and you lift up on it. So it's a really weird kind of mix between a crimp grip and like a fingertip grip.
Yeah. Interesting. It'll be interesting to see if I'm any good at all at it. I'm sure at first I won't be, but I feel like I could probably do okay. I'm okay on a grab ball. I'm okay on a thumb blaster, which both maybe have some application.
Thumb blaster, is that like is that similar to the tips tester?
Tips tester, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's exactly.
Oh, then you'll do pretty well on it.
Yeah. And I've got one tips tester. And I feel like I'm okay on it. I've been, because I got some half 85, got some 85 blobs.
Okay.
And I just couldn't lift it. And it just really pissed me off. So starting December 2nd, I started doing the thing where you do it every day.
Yeah.
And then was it this Saturday? I guess it was this Saturday. After having this thing for over a year, I finally got it.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Which was a pretty good feeling. And then Thursday, I started hunting again before I got it, actually. So I've got the 65, then jumps to the 85. And then I've got one, it's either 105 or 110 that I will never lift. Maybe my son will. He's got bigger hands.
Yeah, I have a fat man that's probably never going to be lifted. Not by me.
So I'm going, and I'm getting, what am I getting from this guy? I'm getting a 70, a 75, an 80, and a 95.
Oh, nice.
And a couple scale weights. He's got a 30 and the 50 scale weights. It's about a 4-hour drive, and I'm taking my truck, and he had a gym, and I'm just going to get a bunch of stuff from him.
Nice.
Kind of looking forward to that. But that'll give me some steps with the blobs where I can get, some more work rather than just a half a 65 and an 85. That's a pretty big jump.
Cave Dad gave us a secret to lifting the blobs. I don't know if you saw that interview, but he dropped a pretty big secret that some of the guys use. Like spray stick 'em, like for football or sports or golf or whatever, or gymnastics.
Stripper pole, whatever you want to use.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever it needs to be used for. So we got the spray stick 'em and coat our hands with it or coat the blob with it, and then you can lift it. And then your hand gets used to the weight. And I lifted it maybe 15 times with the spray stick 'em before I could lift it with no chalk or stick 'em at all.
Really? So
yeah,
because I would imagine the stick'em's not legal in contest, is it?
No, of course not.
Nope.
It's not legal in contest.
But for training,
a lot of people won't even talk about using it for training because it's not legal for contest, and they don't want to look like they're cheating or this or that. But
Sure.
I think it's time that people can share training knowledge.
Yeah.
So we definitely use that stickum for overload training on pinch stuff. And it gets your hands used to it for sure.
Oh yeah, that makes all the sense in the world. Yeah. Like that idea.
We don't care. We'll use, stick 'em. I bench with a slingshot, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm gonna overload the hell out of everything until my body gets used to it, so I can lift more.
Yeah, it's not like I'm used a knurled axle to get up on our Collins axle. We actually found a 2-inch knurled power bar and used the heck out of that to overload weight, and then we switched to the Collins and went up dramatically.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Some of the more solid axles, they don't turn out, but you're talking for grip, not for pressing, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Grip, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Pressing wise, when you're pressing an axle, and you guys do that stuff as well.
Yeah.
Like a solid bar, the weight doesn't spin on them, it seems like. And you almost at the top, you have to let it go and kind of recatch it. It makes sense.
We do like the continental clean where you flip it over at the top because
and I do.
Yeah, it doesn't spin. The weights don't spin, and if you flip it in your wrist, it'll torque your hands back like crazy.
We had an axle setup that had car tires on it, and so that didn't spin at all. And I nailed myself in the chest with it one time. Couldn't breathe for about 5 minutes. Wasn't sure if I broke something. Wasn't sure if I really had a problem. Leaning up against the stone platform, just seeing, all right, is this gonna be okay? Is this not gonna? Am I going to the hospital? Never had to go to the ER straight from an event. Thinking, is this it?
That's good.
But it was was okay. I was bruised. It hurt for a couple months, but I was able to breathe after about 5 minutes. So that was one of those. That was one of those. Or lifting an Atlas stone, and the platform was wooden, and it had some angle iron on the edge. But bringing the stone up, and I got a chunk of wood underneath my fingernail on the way up.
Oh,
That was pretty painful.
man.
I can't even remember all the different injuries that I've had.
I like Big Z's when he was first in World's Strongest Man. And he has an Atlas stone and he's running to load it or something, runs right dead into a wall with an Atlas stone on his chest. Just bounces off, stone falls on him.
And the years that I was around the international guys, and it was probably before your time, but there was a separation for a while from World's Strongest Man and then like another group. So, Savickas went with this other group and missed like maybe three or four World's Strongest Man competitions.
Yeah.
And he won all these other ones. Probably would have won at least half of the World's Strongest Man at that time. I think it was the same year as Pujanowski, who was pretty good for a guy who was much smaller.
Yeah, Pujanowski was fast, really fast.
Yeah, really was. And I never met him. I met a guy that trained with him, another Polish guy, came over for a contest. Actually picked him up from the airport, brought him to the hotel and stuff. Just monster. Some of these guys are just amazing. And then all the European guys back, and I'm going 20 years back, they'd all be in the contest. And then you'd go out drinking that night. And you're like, they look like they've grown, and they all wore platform shoes. Every one of them had like 3-inch bottom. This is no joke. I'm thinking like, what happened? They're like, what are you guys doing? And they being tall was a thing, I guess. I don't know.
That's funny.
Wow. They aren't big enough, I guess.
And they were all big, all a lot bigger than me.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been watching. No, we've followed the sport forever since we were little tiny. We used to watch it back in the day.
Yeah.
With on when it was on Christmas.
Yeah.
The guys like Jeff Capes, and those guys
and all that,
Kazmaier and all those guys back in the day. So yeah, we followed it a long time.
Yeah, that would be cool. I've met Kazmaier a time or two. He's a real nice guy. In those days, met Jesse Marunde a lot.
He's from our local area. We actually we got a chance to close his grippers.
Yeah,
we both closed his number 2 and got on the list for closing his number 2. But yeah, he's a local legend around here, pretty much.
Yeah, he's not from far away.
Yeah, he's just up north a few hours, from us.
Yeah, he's in the Tri-Cities, I think he was in.
Yeah. So is that
Squim? Is that where he's from?
Mm-hmm.
I have family that lives there.
Really? Do you remember or have heard of J.V. Askham? He was like Jesse Marunde's mentor.
Okay.
Did real unique stuff, just a real knowledgeable trainer. And he passed years ago. That taught Jesse. Jesse was a smart lifter.
Yeah.
They had a contest here inside of a like an arena, so they're on a concrete floor, because there's no astroturf or anything at that time. And they're doing a heavy sled pull. Everybody's falling on their ass, really struggling with it. And Jesse comes up and he goes third or fourth of the way through the event, and you see him stop and rub his foot on the top of the other foot with each foot, and he had tacky on the top of his feet of his shoes, and he won the event because he got tacky on his feet. And no one ever said it wasn't legal. I'm sure after that they probably said it wasn't legal.
Yeah.
But he was a technician. He was smart. He wasn't the strongest guy. That he really had a knack of how to train. There was a different contest here. There was a car flip in it, and it was a real hot day. It was a 100-degree day, 95-degree day, humid. It's always hot and humid here. It was outside, and he flips the cars, and they hit a horse water trough full of Gatorades and waters and ice. And he flips those cars and he jumps in that trough. And probably 2 or 3 years later is when he died. And I'm thinking, probably could have died that day jumping in a 100-degree day into that ice cold water.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm glad I did not witness that. It happening then. Because there was obviously stuff going on with the heart and the extremes and what have you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, those polar plunges and jumping into freezing water from decently warm is a little nuts.
Yeah. Well, and after flipping 3 cars as fast as you can and all that heat.
Yeah.
Johnny Perry, who passed in his 20s also, met him a few times. Very different person than Jesse. Jesse was pretty down to earth, good guy. Johnny Perry had a little bit of an ego. Hell of a lifter. Big kid. Big kid. Some colorful people in the sport. Let's put it that way. But a lot of good guys. Good guys.
Definitely. So what do you think is the most important piece of equipment in your home gym?
Glute ham raise is a pretty big deal. Everything in strongman really comes out of the hamstrings, the glutes. That's a big one. I don't have a tire here right now. A tire is a great implement in strongman, just works so many different things. I don't have, I could store a tire here, but I'm trying to keep it fairly presentable looking out here.
Yeah. Our neighbors think we're crazy because we have
2 of them.
2 giant tires, a 460-pounder and a 620-pounder on the side of our house, and along with a Hercules hold set up and a couple other things.
My Hercules hold, that's one that I haven't done in ages. That's a cool event.
It's even more fun when you put golden potatoes on the end of it.
Yeah.
That'll rip your fingers off.
Yeah, we can change the implements on the handles, so we use grip implements on it.
Yeah, rolling handles, potatoes.
I've seen people doing pull-ups with the potatoes. I can't do a pull-up just with a bar, so I know I'm out on that one.
Tanner Merkel can do a one-handed pull-up on a potato.
That's insane.
Yeah, Jason Dingy pulled off a potato pull-up at 334 pounds.
I watched that. Just to do a pull-up at 330 pounds. That's
insane.
That's a strong man.
Yeah.
Big time. That's incredible. I don't know. The neat thing about the strength sports is everybody is into, it's no jealousy or anything. It's just, it's impressive stuff,
Yeah.
Very cool to see 330-pound man doing pull-ups. That's just.
Yeah. Yeah, it's neat because everybody's like really hopped up. Almost everybody has their specialty, Typically we find that almost everybody can do something really darn well,
Yeah,
it's pretty cool in the sport.
Yeah, I haven't quite found my specialty, so survival. Let's see if I can do this. Let's see if I can do this.
Longevity.
Odd hogging.
Yeah, exactly. Out hogging. That'd be awesome. I don't know if he'll ever slow down, that guy.
You got to beat Joy Brown because she's already passed Odd Haugen. So
yeah,
that's true. For years, it seemed like for 5 years they always said he was 53 years old, and I'm thinking, can't be 53 years old that long, So now he's started aging again, I guess. But, gifted and a good guy, and met him back in those days. It's some excellent. Who's the Viking power? He won one world's strongest. Sven Carlson won one world's strongest man.
Yeah.
I think the coolest picture I've ever seen in strongman is him flipping a big, super heavy tire, and his feet are about 8 inches off the ground as he's doing his pull. That's athletic.
That's crazy.
And that picture is easy to find out there. And that is just an incredible from, I mean, I've always had to kick the tire with the knee and, give it the extra help. And he's basically doing a clean with a massive tire.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's pretty cool stuff. A lot of wild stuff out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even where it's going now with guys like Julius Maddox trying to bench 800 pounds. I mean, Stoltman wants to lift a 700-pound Atlas stone. I mean,
Brian Shaw on the race to it.
Yeah, how is he so far ahead of everybody on the Atlas stones? That's amazing.
Guy's incredibly strong at stones.
Yeah.
He's very large too. That helps.
Yeah, it helps that he's 6'8", 400 plus
Reach around
pounds.
the stones. Yeah.
He's so tall he doesn't even look huge. Like Brian Shaw looks huge.
Yeah.
Stoltman, I mean, he obviously looks like a big boy, but nothing like Brian Shaw.
Yeah.
And then he may be a force to be reckoned with for a while. But,
I think so.
Yeah. I don't know that there's anyone that's going to just dominate and win 3 or 4 in a row like we've seen in the past.
I think he has a chance.
He might. And boy, the Scottish, there's so many people from Scotland that I'm friends with now on the socials, and they were so freaking excited.
Yeah.
That was a big thing. And that's just, it's like nature over there. When we were over there to lift the Dinnies at the gathering, it's the locals are coming out just to watch and cheer people on and stuff. And as you know from doing strength stuff, most people don't relate to this crazy stuff, so it's everybody's family and friends. But in Scotland, it's a thing. It's like going to a football game or something,
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it must be really cool to be at. That's awesome.
Yeah. And they're the inn that we stayed at, that was definitely the pinnacle. And you're there with Stevie Shanks, Jack Shanks, Jim Splain, who was the second guy, since they refound him in like 1953, and he's lifted him like 65 times. David Webster, who's the guy who found him, was there. Brett Nicole, who's lifted him 350 times.
Wow, man.
So he's amazing. He just showing people how to position them, how to lift them, and he just goes, "Oh, you just do like this," and
just like a tutorial. Here you go. Just no problem. It's just like this. Boom, boom. There you go.
Not warmed up, nothing. He just it's just like this. And he helps everybody there.
That's what Adam Glass does with the inch dumbbell. So that's what Adam Glass does with the inch dumbbell. We go over in the house. He's like, "Yeah, you just reach down and pick it up. It's no problem. Just pick it up. Just like this. Just put your hand on it, reach around, pick it up."
I'm so far from that one. I've got the Arm Assassin, just a loadable bar, and I think I've hit 130 with it maybe. I'm so far from being able to do an inch dumbbell.
The inch it's absurd, man. If your hands aren't huge, it's a very, 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 very tough thing.
Yeah, my hands are not. They're not small, but they're definitely not huge. And as soon as you get any weight on it, it rolls on you.
Yep. Yeah, I think it also a big part of it is how your hands progress too. If your hands start to get like real thick, from doing all this grip stuff, you start getting the big thumb pad and a lot of meat. That takes away almost your ability to wrap around a bar, because it adds all this meat, so your hand isn't thin and long anymore. I've noticed some of the best gripsters, they can get really strong hands, and their hands stay relatively thin.
Interesting.
Incredible.
Interesting. That's I haven't noticed that. I know Adam, even after tearing up his finger, he's already back lifting the inch dumbbells. It's amazing. It would be cool to be able to lift that someday. We'll see how. I've been told, like John Oka, he says he's still progressing on grip stuff, and he's 64. So hopefully I can continue making gains, at least on hand strength stuff.
I think Ode is still getting stronger at grip all the way up until almost 70.
Really?
Yeah, he did his world record attempt at 68, I think. For most times lifting the inch consecutively. Yeah, he attempted the world record on that.
And did he get it?
I believe so. I think he still has it.
Really?
Yeah.
And he's a pretty unassuming guy. He puts on all kinds of contests.
Yeah.
Does some good stuff. He's out in California, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he's always training with Martins now. They're always hanging out together.
Yeah, him, Martins, and Ricardo.
And Martins is why I don't know that Stoltman will totally reign, because Martins has some amazing ability. We'll see what happens. Don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Look forward to seeing him getting back into the sport. Sure.
Yeah, didn't he just do the Arnold or something? Came back in.
He did the first half of Super Series too. Super Series of Grip.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
he did that too.
Yeah, he did some Rogue. I think he did the Rogue
Arnold, the Rogue Grip Championship of the Arnold, or something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Rogue international competition thing, and won that.
Okay.
I think that's what he just did.
You guys should. Scotland would be a cool goal. That's very achievable, very doable for you guys. You'd love that trip, with all the stones that you've got. And, the Dinnies, I think not anybody, but, if you train them, it's the most awful lift in the world, just because it's so awkward, different weights, different heights, different hand sizes. And you're twisted, so it's a tough lift, but very achievable if you train for it, I believe. Yeah. And then, of course, you've got some monsters who just go pick it up, But
pick it up and walk across the bridge with it or whatever.
Yeah. The Brian Shaws of the world.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a guy named Pete from Australia who actually did cross the bridge. He had to pick it up a couple times.
That's insane.
And he's not a monster. I mean, he's tall and he's stocky, but he's not a monster, and he'll get it. He was there the day that those guys that The Strongest Man in History was filmed, and he didn't get it as far in one carry, but through like 3 or 4 pickups, he crossed the bridge, and that. Not many people. Mark Haydock's done that. Not many people have done that.
That's incredible. Wow.
Yeah, I can't even, because of the hip thing, I quit doing farmers. But it's, just imagine a farmer's where everything's moving, where it's different weights, different heights, and it's so big that it's just bouncing off your legs.
Yeah.
And to be able to go 17 feet with that, 734 pounds.
That's just crazy.
Yeah, it's those guys over there, they're lifting stones all the time.
Yeah, exactly. That's their thing, I mean, that's a big thing there. Yeah. I watched full Sturker, and I've seen some of the stone history, but yeah, it's incredible how much it means to them. It's neat.
Yeah. It's definitely a different, after lifting for decades and decades, to go over there, real bagpipes playing in the background. There's just nothing like it.
That's cool.
It was cool. And if I did it, we made a family trip out of it and spent 2 weeks and had all my kids and a couple of their friends and stuff. And so that was the only lifting part of that trip.
Yeah.
But, we've kind of looked into it, and you can go on a stone lifting tour and stay in Airbnbs and different stuff like that, fairly reasonable, without making and still you're going to see castles, and it's not like you can lift stones every day, all day, so, and it's such beautiful countryside. It's the whole Highlands of Scotland is pretty awesome.
Yeah, man, that'd be a cool one to get to do for sure.
Yeah, that was, and see, you got your business of selling the potatoes, you make it a business, and then that trip is a business trip, and it's a tax.
Right. There you go. Just bring some potatoes with us.
That's right.
As long as we don't get thrown in jail there or something for bringing them.
Yeah, they'd love them. They're basically like a hand rock.
Yeah. You'll have to bring the videos to.
Exactly.
I think they'll be good with them over there, though. And
We'll
there's
get some of our fans to bail us out.
Yeah,
it'll be fine.
There's a lot of grip stuff goes on over there. Mark Haydock makes a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
He's in UK. Those guys are all. There's most people hook grip the Dinnies. There's maybe 10% of them don't. That's Hunsaker, Brian Hunsaker.
Okay.
And I don't know if he's from Utah. He does a lot of stone lifting, but he had the world record for a hold with the Dinnie Stones of like 32 seconds without hook grip.
wow.
Whoa.
Yeah. Big tall guy. And again, not big, not like a Brian Shaw type. But I bet 1 in 10 that lifts the Dinnie Stones doesn't hook grip. I tried, I was working towards it, and I was within 10%, so probably got to 90% weight without hook. But boy, that last 30 pounds is, when you're trying to concentrate on everything else and trying to hang on to it. And I may start working at that again and seeing where that goes. But I think I got to 390 on heavy side without hook, which is 25 pounds off. But that's just lifting one single. I think Hunsaker, I watched him do a 500-pound ring lift without hook.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's
Holy smokes.
Unbelievable.
That's crazy. So, go ahead.
The backside, the 318, whatever it is, 318, I think that side. Probably a little, it's a narrower ring, so it kind of digs in more when it's not hook grip. But I think that one's, reasonably achievable without hook. So at least for me, I mean, everybody's grip strength is different,
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, we're definitely finding that out. It's weird to see what people can do that have powerlifting or strongman backgrounds and how different it is.
Yeah. Some stuff, I think, CrossFit, which everybody makes fun of, but it translates fairly well to strongman stuff. Gives them endurance. They know how to move their body well. Good at
Well, Jeremy's probably one of the best hilt lifters in our group. I mean,
Yeah, he's obstacle course
by
racer.
far, pound for pound, the best hilt lifter, and his hilt's way up for his. I mean, he's like a 160-pound guy, and he's pulling, I don't know,
200 pounds.
200 pounds on the hilt or some crazy amount, 200 plus. But yeah, and it's because he does so many of the obstacle course stuff. He's an OCR guy, obstacle course racer. So yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting to see the stuff that transfers, and, everything comes out of the hips.
Yeah.
You know how to use that. That's why Olympic lifters, it translates a lot of times too.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, there was one Olympic lifter at Adam Glass's checking out grip, and he was a monster.
That guy was a monster.
Yeah, he was
Over
monster.
800-pound deadlift.
Really?
Yeah.
And on an Olympic lifter. That's, I guess, if you can clean 400 or 500 pounds, you got to be able to deadlift a lot more than that.
Yeah, that was incredible.
Yeah, there's some very strong dudes hanging out around there. It's cool.
Yeah. And he's like out in like a rural area, isn't he?
He's only like 20 minutes or so from Fort Worth, so he's not
Yeah,
that far out. He's in
Okay.
Weatherford, but that's not too far from Fort Worth. I mean, he's only about a 45-minute drive from Dallas.
Okay. So not real far.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's kind of how I am here. I'm in St. Louis, but I'm out, a little bit in the sticks, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Not in the main part of the city. So kind of nice, quiet once I get out here, and I can
Yeah, we're
have
about
rocks in my yard.
we're about 15 minutes from downtown Portland, so we're in a good spot. I mean, it's quiet, but we're really close to anywhere we need to go that would have big events or anything. So we host things here. People can fly into PDX and be at our house in 15 to 17 minutes from the airport.
Nice.
So
Yeah, we're walking distance from a strength gym too that has some guys that come over here and do grip with us. So I mean, that works out pretty cool. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I would guess that if I put a grip thing on and promoted it right, could probably get a handful of people that know that they're good at grip but haven't done it. There's one guy started a gym rats group here in St. Louis that I think now might have 600 or 800 people on it.
Oh,
And
wow.
I've seen a couple of guys on there that have done some grip stuff, and they're not grip trainers, so they could probably do pretty well if they worked at it a little bit. So that's something that I'm going to have to look into. If there's none around, it might just have to be me.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. I think people have to try to make it grow for sure.
Yeah. And as long as I can do it for fun and not set out to make money on it, just
that's where we're at, just doing it for fun.
Yep. That's exactly what we do. We charge $10 and half of that goes towards the organization. The other half goes towards the food that we provide for everybody. So
yeah.
we usually do a barbecue or something like that for our contest. Yeah, it's awesome.
And I would think a gym would enjoy hosting, because that gets people to come to that gym and
yeah,
exactly
see in fact, there is another gym that I know that probably would do it, that I've trained, that I've done strongman and done contests there. That would probably be the ideal place. Got to have plenty of plates and that type of stuff too. So that could work well.
So you have any last minute advice for the average person trying to get healthy and fit?
Just have fun. And that's what I've told so many people, don't make it a job, don't make it stressful. That's the whole goal of all this stuff, is to relieve stress.
Yeah, exactly.
Go out and have fun, have a good time.
You're stressing out over your lifting, I mean, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah. Or even stressing out over if you're better than this guy or gal or whatever. Just competing against yourself in this stuff,
Yeah.
Go out and have a good time, and that's what it's all about. And do it as long as you can. Interesting to see how long I can do it. I don't know. So far, so good.
Absolutely. Hey man, I'm hoping I'm there when I'm 60 years old.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm not great at it, but I have fun, and if I can continue to make gains on something, it's all good. It's all good. So, yeah, love to meet you guys someday somewhere in the country at an event.
That'd be great. Do you have any questions for us before we let you go?
No, just it's interesting watching you guys progress and do well. You guys definitely, you can tell you have fun. That's a big deal.
Oh, every time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're gonna make some good progress this year. We kind of figured out what worked for us and what didn't work for us last year, and adjusted our program considerably. And now I think we'll both start to specialize a little bit. His hands are decently bigger than mine. He can do a lot more of the axle stuff better than I can, and the fat bar and the inch type stuff. He's gotten a little air on the inch actually.
Yeah, I'm hoping to lift the inch this
amazing.
year and hit like 375 on the Collins axle. So
No kidding.
Yep.
That's some big numbers.
yeah,
and I'm hoping to get my crush up. I want to make the number 3 a working gripper for me. I've closed it once. I want to be able to close it, consistently this year. I want to be able to wake up at 3 in the morning and close it.
That's pretty serious close there.
and for weird implements, I think I could hit 80 kilos on the grab ball. For some reason, I love that damn thing. I hated it at first.
I'm way off of that though. I think I just broke 130 pounds. But I like that implement. That's a cool implement.
Yeah, I think I could get close to 175 pounds this year on the grab ball.
Yeah, he was at King Kong. He was hanging with some of the big strong lifters on the grab ball.
No kidding.
It was him and some of the top guys that were left.
Probably the one thing for me. So John Oka did a thing that you had to be. I think you had to be at least 50, and he had weight or age classes 50, 60, 70, 80, and I was still 59, but it was a vertical bar lift, and you could use any thickness of vertical bar that you wanted to. And I had a 2-inch. He kept saying that you're stronger on a smaller one. So I got some water pipe and made a 1-inch, and I was not stronger on the smaller one. But then I made a 1.5 inch, and I got 270 pound, and you're
That's good.
Around. And it was like the last day of the contest.
It's awesome.
I had done, I don't remember, 230 or 240 or something. And it was at the end of our strongman workout, and I picked it, and I just kept going, putting 10-pound plates on, and a guy had done like 268.
Nice.
And I hit the 270, and then I'm done. I'm stopped. But that's a decent implement for me.
Yeah, I asked John if it was okay if I identified it as an old Faka, but he wouldn't let me.
Yeah.
I tried to get in on that contest.
He's such a great guy.
He is.
We will hopefully in the next year or two, maybe this year, I don't know, get over to Hawaii, which is an awesome place. A lot easier from where you guys are. It's a lot of flying from here.
Yeah.
But if I do, I'll take a day trip, because I'm sure we'll go to Honolulu, but I'll take a day trip and go visit John.
Yeah, for sure.
What a cool guy, and what a collection of.
Yeah. That's one place we definitely want to get to soon, as well as trying to get down south to go to California and visit Odd and Ricardo and them too. So it's 2 of our next stops, we're hoping.
Yeah, that's cool stuff. Yeah. Well, hopefully our paths will cross.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Somewhere around the globe, and I appreciate this was fun. I enjoyed it. And,
well, we appreciate you being on.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you guys keep doing your thing. Do well.
You too. All
Awesome.
right. Well, have a good night.
Take care. Stay strong.
Yeah.
All right, guys.